Has the thought of falling in love made you feel uneasy, anxious, or even terrified? This is a common sentiment, one that speaks volumes about the fear of falling in love. This fear, like a misty spectre, can manifest in various ways, subtly influencing our behaviors and shaping our relationships. It can be the invisible hand that guides us away from potential partners, or the whispering voice that convinces us to keep our hearts guarded. Now, let's delve into the signs that you may be afraid of falling in love. The first sign that you may fear falling in love is that you have a tendency to sabotage relationships. It's a way of erecting barriers, of keeping a safe distance. It's like being on a diving board, peering into the deep end but never quite taking the plunge. You might find yourself pushing people away, often when things are going well. Or perhaps you're always on the lookout for faults in your partner, turning molehills into mountains. You could be creating unnecessary drama, turning tranquility into turmoil, all to avoid getting too close, too attached. This sabotaging can be subtle, a niggling doubt here, an unresolved argument there. It's a pattern that repeats itself, a cycle that you're stuck in. And with each cycle, the fear of falling in love grows stronger, feeding into the very same pattern. So, if you find yourself constantly sabotaging your relationships, it might be a sign of your fear of falling in love. The second sign is avoiding emotional intimacy. Emotional intimacy is the cornerstone of any deep and meaningful relationship. It's the willingness to share your innermost feelings, vulnerabilities, hopes, and fears with another person. It's about letting your guard down and allowing yourself to be seen, warts and all. But if you're afraid of falling in love, you might find yourself avoiding this level of intimacy. You may shy away from discussing your personal feelings, perhaps diverting conversations to safer, surface-level topics. You might feel uncomfortable when conversations start to veer towards the future, or when your partner tries to delve deeper into your thoughts and emotions. This avoidance isn't about maintaining a sense of mystery or playing hard to get. It's a defense mechanism, a way to protect yourself from the potential pain that can come with love. Therefore, consistent avoidance of emotional intimacy can indicate a fear of falling in love. The third sign is being attracted to unavailable people. This might sound peculiar, but it's actually a common way people avoid the vulnerability of falling in love. Think about it. If you find yourself drawn to someone who is emotionally unavailable, you're essentially setting yourself up for a relationship that can never truly blossom. The emotional walls they've built up serve as a convenient barrier to keep you from truly connecting. The same goes for those who are already in a relationship. If you're attracted to someone who's taken, you're choosing a path that inherently limits the potential for deep reciprocal love. It's a safety net, keeping you from the risk of heartbreak. Or perhaps you're attracted to someone geographically distant. The miles between you create a physical barrier that makes falling in love difficult, if not impossible. It's a protective mechanism, a way to guard your heart. So if you find yourself consistently drawn to unavailable people, it may be a sign of your fear of falling in love. The fourth sign is the fear of losing your independence. This is a common hurdle many face when contemplating love. Imagine you're a bird, soaring freely in the sky. The thought of sharing your sky with another might seem daunting. You may worry about losing the autonomy to make decisions solely based on your own whims and desires. You might feel resistant to the idea of sharing your life with someone else, perhaps because you fear it might limit your personal freedom. It's like a tug of war between the yearning for companionship and the craving for solitude. This internal conflict is a clear indicator of the fear of falling in love. Thus, a strong fear of losing your independence can indicate a fear of falling in love. The final sign is having a history of short relationships. Imagine a revolving door of partners, each one leaving as quickly as they came. This pattern could be indicative of a fear of falling in love. It's like you're in a race, but instead of running towards the finish line, you're running away from it. The moment things start to feel serious, you hit the brakes. It's not the people you're with that you're afraid of. It's the depth of the feelings that they stir within you. It's the vulnerability of letting someone in, of potentially getting hurt. You might not want to commit to a long-term relationship, not because you don't want to, but because it terrifies you. So, if you have a history of short relationships, it could be a sign that you're afraid of falling in love. In conclusion, the fear of falling in love can manifest in various ways. It may show itself through the sabotage of relationships or an evasion of emotional intimacy. It could be an attraction to those who are unavailable, a fear of losing independence, or a history of transient relationships. These are the telltale signs that you may be afraid to fall in love. Remember, recognizing these signs is the first step towards addressing your fear. Don't be afraid to seek help if you need it. Love, after all, is a journey, not a destination.